Hi everybody, it's John in the flesh with Shrimply Thinking, and welcome to my shrimp room. If you've been following my Facebook page, you know I recently moved the shrimp room from one location to another, and I'm in central Canada in December, so I had the weather to contend with. So it took a little bit of planning and preparation on both ends to make sure it went smoothly, but it did, and all my shrimp are doing great. I did have to sacrifice some tanks. I sacrificed 6 or 7 of my larger tanks, 45, 60 gallons, and 30s, uh, because I literally didn't have the room for them. And they took a little bit more maintenance because they were mainly for fish. And I decided I'm getting out of the fish and just sticking to shrimp. I did keep my hillstream type loach breeding project that I still haven't had happen, that I'm determined to make work, and a bunch of auto cichlids that I like, that I know are all shrimp friendly. So today I'll give you a tour. I was asked at the old location and the new location about a tour of the room, so I'll get it done and we'll do a quick little tour of my 19 tank shrimp room. I'll show you all what I have in the tanks, how I go about some of the maintenance and water prep that I do. It is my bi-weekly maintenance and water change week, so I will be doing that, and I'll just put the camera maybe on fast forward and we'll talk about it after. And then at the end, I'll talk about how I did the move, the preparation. I have some still photos of my truck loaded up with shrimp tanks, 10 and 20 gallon tanks. Those are the only ones I kept. It took a couple trips back and forth. Yeah, we'll talk about how I did it. So stay tuned to the end, guys.
All right, here's a full shot of my fish room. I am down to one bank of tanks and willow. 19 tanks now, and I'll just walk you through each of them. This one I would consider my display tank, but it is the hillstream loach Borneo sucker breeding project. I've been working on this a little while, haven't had any success, but now moving here, I've changed the tank up where I've softened the water. I've made a deeper rock bed for them to lay their eggs. I've increased the flow with a wave pump, and I've increased the aeration with a bubble stone, which I've turned off at the moment. So hopefully, and I got one lone crayfish in here. I stopped breeding these crayfishes because they're actually not allowed to have in my province. So I'm just letting this guy live out his life. And this is a laser. It's a hillstream loach. These guys are all, it's like they're just taking it easy this morning. And there is the Borneo sucker type. Where are they? They got the blue fins on them. And yeah, there is a possibility, I think, that they could interbreed, but they seem to keep to their own. Oh, there's one right on the glass in front of me here. They seem to keep to their own kind. The blue fin ones stay together, and then the green lasers also stay together. So I'm hoping they don't interbreed, and there are 2 different sizes, quite significantly. The lasers grow quite a bit larger. And now moving down, we'll go along the Neocaridina section. This is just my Neocaridina call tank. So anything that isn't the right color in the colonies comes out, so it doesn't wash out the coloration of the colonies. Excuse me. Nothing really to see in here. This is a aquatic isopod tank that I've been breeding, and you don't see these guys unless you come in at night or start lifting rocks. Emerald greens. I really like these. I should put a better light on these. These guys, excuse me while I grab a light here. These guys did breed for me, and I did have shrimplets, but none of the shrimplets survived. So I'm hoping, well, I'm waiting for another litter of shrimplets, and we'll try it again, and hopefully I can get these guys to breed. Next we have Blue Dreams. So at first glance, well, let's talk about my Blue Dreams and my red cherries, which are right next door here. And at first glance, you'll look and think, these aren't that the greatest quality. But I have a philosophy when it comes to line breeding shrimp. And that's shrimp try to mimic their surroundings. So they try to change their color to blend in as much as they can. So I'm looking for the darkest, deepest color in my shrimp. So I think that putting them on a light colored substrate, they have a harder time blending into it. Some will blend in better than others. And the ones that blend in, could you get out of the way, Willow? That blend in better than others are the ones that I'm gonna remove first. And so you take these shrimp and put them in another tank with a darker substrate, and they will look phenomenal. Next we have orange pumpkins. Don't have a whole lot of them in here. That's another story why some of my tanks are a little bit sparser than others, and I think I'm going to tell that story in another video, because I learned a good lesson this year in the shrimp hobby. Nobody died on me, but stay tuned for another soon to come video. Yellow gold line Neocaridinas. These guys are like the biggest Neocaridinas that I have. They grow a little bit bigger than everybody else. So these are better, I would say, in a community tank. Less chance of predation, because they are just a bigger fish if you put them with suitable, guppies or CPDs or fish of that nature. Blue zebras. These are a little bit less common. They are basically come from the Blue Dreams, but they have more of a zebra pattern on them. So the stripes along the back. Moving up a row, I got a couple more Neo tanks. Snowballs. I see lots of saddles, but I don't see any snowballs being carried. So they get their name because they carry their eggs under their carapace, and they're quite white, and they just look like snowballs. Or their skirt, they carry them under their skirt at the back, and nobody here is carrying snowballs right now. But they will be soon, because you'll see a lot of saddles, which are the eggs getting ready to come down and get fertilized. Moving on to, this is technically black rose, but as you can see, I have some orange eye blue tiger in here as well. So I have a little project going on just to see what water parameters work best for orange eye blue tigers. And so this is obviously the Neocaridina water parameters. These guys will not interbreed because one's a Neocaridina and the other is a Caridina. So I don't have to worry about crossbreeding, but these guys seem to be doing okay in Neocaridina, which is just dechlorinized tap water. Now we move into the Caridinas. These are my red King Kongs, which I mainly got for doing some crossbreeding projects that I have underway. No results yet, but super nice red in these guys. Black crystals with a couple orange eye blue tigers in there that I'm trying to get to crossbreed and see what I come up with. So I put 2 female orange eye blue tigers in here, and once I see them start carrying eggs, I'll most likely move them to another tank. Oh, and there's some black King Kongs in here as well. I moved my black King Kongs in here just because I had to downsize the number of tanks I had, and I know that the black King Kongs originally came from black crystals, so I knew I wasn't messing up any bloodlines by putting them in here. Then the red crystals. I got some really nice red crystals in here, all the way from S to triple S grades. I have these pure white snow ones, which I am going to eventually try to line breed and stabilize the full white color, because that really pops in a darker aquarium. Okay, up one row, 2 blue bolts. Well, as you can see, it's not just blue bolts in here. I got black crystals in here as well. This was a crossbreeding project I kind of messed up on. I threw in what I thought was a couple or 3 black crystal females, and I guess one was a male, and they just went about breeding on their own and not breeding with blue bolts, which I wanted to try to make a blue panda shrimp. So I got to clean out the black crystals and try again. Tangerine tigers. Great for crossbreeding projects. Breed like crazy. Very easy to keep. They don't mind either types of water. And these are my boas that I like to say I created. I got them from Black Galaxy Pintos. Just started pulling out everything that got close to looking like a boa and put them in a separate tank. Now, they're not all boas in here. Some of their offsprings are coming out fish bones and just kind of galaxy tiger striped. There's a couple really nice ones in here, but I can't see them all right now. That one's not bad. But I have some with kind of like a metallic sheen to them that's nice. And these are just the Black Galaxy Pintos, kind of a mixed bag in here. Oh, with the crystal red that I'm trying to add a little bit of color to these guys. So I just threw in 1 female crystal red. I want to see what she comes up with. Is she buried? She might be buried. Or maybe not. Oh, and a blue steel. So that's a cool thing about keeping Caridina. You don't always know what the offspring are going to look like. And my last tank, it only has a few orange eye blue tigers in here, or orange eye blue tiger blondes in Caridina parameters. Like I say, this is my comparison I'm doing, which water works best for these guys. And I threw in a red King Kong just to see if I can get a shrimp with a little bit of red color in it that has the orange eye trait. Back there. And that's it. That is my 19 tanks. 1 bank of racks. Well, little, I guess 2 racks, but this one doesn't have a whole lot on it. These are my water barrels. I got a little mushroom project going on here. Just for the fun of it. But yeah, I keep 1 barrel for the Caridina
reverse osmosis, deionized water, and then just the Neocaridina barrel for dechlorinized tap water. I age all my water. I keep it circulating while I age it for 2 or 3 days. Prepare all my water before the water change, and I have this is all ready to go. I've turned off all my pumps right now, so we don't have to listen to that. But there also is a large bag of oak leaves in there that just kind of adds some tannins and a little bit more softening of the water. So this is my RODI system. I don't have it mounted to the wall yet. I am using it right now, but I just haven't got around to having it mounted up properly. But it works out nice in this new location. I have my sump pit for the basement right here. So all my excess water, even when I do my water changes, I put it into the sump, and the sump automatically pumps it out onto my grass. And if I want to put it in my garden, I just move the hose over and pump the water into my garden. And it's liquid gold for a garden fish tank water. As you can see, I mess around with plants a little bit. I don't have all my plants here right now. A lot of these guys will go outside for the winter, but I have some in here right now. My air system, I have 2. I try to do redundancy, so all my Caridina tanks have a UGF box and a sponge filter. And I keep the sponge filter and the UGF box on 2 different systems. So as if one fails, so I have my inline pump here, back here, which supplies all my airlines. Not set up that pretty yet. I got to organize this a bit better, but all my airlines go there and into all the tanks. And then I have this one as well that's just a secondary. So if I do lose out, or if one burns out, I do have another one on the go. All my lighting is sun blaster lighting, or very similar to sun blasters, used for obviously plants or indoor growing operations, but they work really well for my plants. They actually keep the reds really red, and they do develop some nice green walls. Like this is, I did a short video on this the other day about how nice this green wall is on my Caridina tank, not Caridina, my tangerine tiger tank, which are Caridina.
And one other thing I'd like you to note in the shrimp room is that I don't use any heaters. So all my shrimps are just room temperature, which is 21 degrees Celsius. I try to keep this as efficiently run as possible with the least amount of expense for hydro. So 0 heaters, LED lights, and just running 2 air pumps. That's all that runs to keep this operation going as cheaply as possible. And there are some benefits to having the tanks at a room temperature. One that everybody knows about is it increases their life expectancy. They have a slower metabolism. Now that means they breed a little bit slower, but they live longer. And the other one that nobody really talks about, which is super important when you're looking to breed in quantity, is a lower temperature increases your female to male ratio of shrimplets. So similar to turtles and alligators, the temperature of the incubated eggs determines the ratio of males to females. And females are typically a little bit better coloration, and the more females, the more breeding goes on. All right, let's get to the maintenance and water changing. Just a little overview of some of the things that I do to make my life a little simpler before I get started is I keep a drain line that I siphon all my tank water into this drain line, and I put the other end of the drain line into my house's sump pit, gets pumped straight outside. I also fill a bucket of water with the first batch of water taken from the tanks, just so I can squeeze out all my sponges in the tank water, so I'm not getting chlorine in there to start to kill off any beneficial bacteria.
Okay, that's it. Those are my Caridina tanks done. I removed a whole bunch of plants that were getting a little bit out of control. Some of the tanks I was having a hard time even seeing shrimp because they had so much. So I removed quite a bit of plants. And I've been removing all the jungle val, like the eel grass. I actually really like eel grass, but I find it gets into my UGF filters and starts clogging up the UGF. So I'm trying to keep the UGFs clear of plants. So I'm letting the moss grow on them, but anything else I've been trying to pull the plants out. My TDS in all the new tanks are 125, 130, and the pH is between 6 and 6.2. It's creeping up a bit. It's usually a little bit below 6, so I probably have to reset some tanks soon or reset some UGF filters and get some more buffering substrate in there to keep that pH down. What else can I tell you? That's it. And I'll just do a little bit of cleanup, and then I'll wait till tomorrow, but I'm going to start making some water to do the Neocaridina tanks next.
And then at night when the lights all go off, I run these LEDs just to kind of do a moonlight, and so I can still come in the room and take a look at what everybody's up to in the night. Now for the move. So when I knew the week I was going to move the tanks, I prepared by doing water changes on all my tanks regularly, like every 2 to 3 days for the 2 weeks leading up to the move. That way I know my water was in the most pristine condition it could be in, and once I got to that point, I moved my water making supplies to the new location and started making water and preparing the water there for when the tanks arrive. And while I was doing that, I also had to move the rack. So to move the rack, I had to find a place to store the tanks for a couple days, which was this part of this pile here, which I hooked up my air pumps to and just ran these tanks. And now these tanks are down to just about 20% water in them. So once I had the water made and aged at the new location, all remineralized for the Caridina tanks, I had my rack set up, so it was nice and level, ready to receive all my tanks. I loaded up the truck and moved to the new location. So it just took 2 trips to move all the tanks to the new location. And then it was setting them all up, getting them on the racks where I wanted them, and then refilling them as gradually as possible with the water. Tried to make sure the water was spot on to be the same parameters as the water that was already in the tank, the 20% that I left in the tank. So I wasn't too worried about a water shock to my shrimp. So other than the physical labor involved, which was quite a bit, it was just about to be organized and have a plan of events. Make sure you know the day you're going to move, the preparation leading up to it, getting your tanks water in pristine condition for when you do refill them, because I drained them down 80%. And when they got to the new location, they got filled right back up with 80% new water, which was very, very close to the 20% that was in the tank. Well, all in all, wasn't that bad. Thanks for hanging in there. This was a little bit longer video, but I keep getting asked for a tour of the shrimp room, and you know that if you're picking up shrimp from me, I typically don't let people come in and see the room. So this is the tour. So hopefully you found it interesting, and maybe it'll help you out with your own move in the future. It's all about preparation and keeping that water as pristine as possible. I got a lot more videos coming up. I think are pretty good. One is leaving your shrimp room for long periods of time, which I do because I travel a fair bit, and I leave my shrimp room for so far over a month I've left it, but I got another trip coming up where I gotta leave it for 2 months. So I hate burdening my family and friends to do water changes and feeding and maintenance. So I got a couple tricks to keep the water pristine, keep the shrimp happy, and I'll put a video together on that. So hit that bell, because I don't put out videos on a regular basis. As soon as I think I find something that might be of interest to you, I'll throw a video together. So that's it for tonight, everybody. Happy shrimp keeping. Take care.